Man Hour Nation, are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet?
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and it just won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckhuister here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Pick yourself up some merchandise. We have a fantastic show for you tonight. NFL Mock Draft 1.1, Wyatt Williams style. But let's welcome the guys into the show. Brandon Combs, what's going on tonight, man?
Man Hour Nation, what is going on? The best damn sports radio show on the planet is live. We have a mock draft tonight that, I'm not going to lie, I have to teach Wyatt Williams how to do some of these overlays, because I spent about 4.5 to 5 hours putting these overlays together. So I'm going to tell you right now, if he messes any of this up, I'm coming down to Southern Indiana and I'm going to find one Wyatt Williams. The Wyatt Williams.
Well, there you can find the Wyatt Williams calling sectional games all week, but this is your only night off this week. But Wyatt, welcome to the show, man. We are excited to do the Wyatt Williams NFL mock draft. So, are you ready, man? Are you really prepared for this?
Dude, I am so pumped. I have been doing mock drafts for God knows how long. I mean, I have been doing mock drafts so long that, it'll be as long as Combs will use that same overlay as a joke, But no, I've been doing mock drafts since.
Away, buddy.
I think I did my first.
Mock drafts are never going away either, right?
Never, ever. I think I did my first mock draft when I was in probably 5th grade, something like that. Did a 1 round. Yeah, so last year, doing them for about a year now. But no, it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. Spend a lot of time researching all these guys, getting a little, scouting report on them, and excited to do this with you guys tonight. I'm pretty bummed out though that this is my only night of the show tonight. It's I'm excited to go and call those sectional games, but at the end of the night, I love doing this. You guys make my evening awesome.
Well, we are happy to do it without you, because the show always improves when you're not here talking about the Green Bay Packers for an hour and a half. No, we are definitely
There's a lot less hair when you're not here too.
A lot, yeah. True. There's a lot more redness and a lot less bald, and a lot more baldness happening when you're not here. 100%. So John Hoffman comes in and said, "It's time." Man, I would love to have the Bruce Buffer voice, man. How cool would that be?
That would be an awesome intro, except we'd have to pay him like $25,000 every time we use it. So,
right.
Drew, what's going on, buddy? Drew wants to know where the Barnum and Bailey couch shirt is at.
You know what? I was walking outside, and you guys know I got 2 boys. One is going through potty training stage right now, and yeah, he took a crap on it. So that's where
nice.
That's what you do with Kansas City Chiefs merchandise that looks like popcorn buckets.
Oh man,
dude, you could sell that thing on eBay right now for $100 easily. That thing
not with the poop on it.
Yeah, you could. It actually increases value like a little bit. Speaking of poop and increase in value, though, great segue there, Combs. Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, guys. This has been the biggest news all weekend. Matthew Stafford is going to the L.A. Rams, and Jared Goff is going to the Detroit Lions. So, unreal. Combs and Wyatt, you guys are going to be seeing Jared Goff twice a year now, moving forward. But Combs, who ultimately won this trade in the end?
Oh, the Lions won this trade. Regardless of what they do with Jared Goff, which I think that you gave up way too much to not invest in Jared Goff and build around him. I would say. I mean, for everything that you gave up, you're stuck with Jared Goff, right. At least for the next couple of years. You have to give him a shot, right? But the amount of draft picks that the Rams gave up for for Matthew Stafford was mind-boggling to me. And not only that, but what did that do to Deshaun Watson's stock, man? His stock skyrocketed. I mean, you have to be thinking at least 6 picks to get Deshaun Watson, plus an NFL-ready quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like that right there took the Bears right out of the race for Deshaun Watson, because you need an NFL-ready quarterback, and the Bears don't have one. So, but Deshaun Watson's stock just, I mean, absolutely flew through the roof with this trade. But the Lions absolutely fleeced the Rams in this trade.
I'm going to go off that as well. First off, I want to say you asked about us playing him twice a year now. First off, I'm relieved. I'm relieved now that whenever we go to Ford Field or we play them at Lambeau, that I don't have to see that number 9. I don't have to see Matthew Stafford, because regardless of his weapons, regardless of their record, Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback. I mean, I love his game. I love him playing. Even Aaron Rodgers will admit that he is an amazing quarterback. He said that a bunch about, he said that the baddest man in the NFL is number 9 in Detroit. I mean, and it's true. He's just never had those weapons after he crapped on it. It wouldn't make it a Packers shirt.
He said if he crapped, he's talking about his Chiefs sweatshirt that his son crapped on. He said,
if
he
course.
crapped on it, doesn't that make it a Packers shirt?
Jeez.
That's the comment of the night. He wins.
But I would say for right now, at this moment, the Rams won, because they're a Super Bowl team now. That was the move. They needed that move. They needed that move to be a Super Bowl contender. That locked them up the NFC West, because Matt Stafford's finally going to have weapons. Now, he's going to have a great team. He's going to have 3 awesome running backs with a good offensive line and awesome defense to back him up as well. Now, in the long run, I do agree with Combs. In the long run, I think that Detroit ends up winning this one, because they got 2 first-round picks out of this, and a quarterback, too. I mean, that's huge. That is franchise-altering. And a third, too. A third's not bad.
In this is absolutely ridious.
It is. It's incredible.
Now, they might not get a first-round draft pick till, like, 2023 or something?
2022 and 2023. It's next year.
First-round picks, right? I thought it depends on how well Goff performs is going to depend on what years the picks are. At least that's what I understood from the trade. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure
it's a 2022 and a 2023 first-round pick. Yeah, so it'll be next draft and the draft after.
Yeah, so basically the Rams won't have a first-round pick for 8 years total, because of this recent trade. The 5 previous years they didn't have a first-round pick. They won't have a first-round pick this year or the next 2 years.
So basically, you're not going to be able to draft a viable quarterback for when the inevitable happens and Matthew Stafford ends up on IR with a broken everything.
No, he would play. He plays on IR though. That guy's tough.
He is. No, he's the toughest. Tough. Dude, the toughest thing I ever seen an NFL quarterback do was that play where it was 4th and goal to
separated
win the game,
shoulder,
and he separated his shoulder. And he's like, "I'm good for one throw, coach." And he goes in and throws a game-winning pass. Like there is nothing more
bad man.
Like that. Nobody could ever take that guy's man card away. I'm not saying he's not a tough quarterback, but he is. He suffered a broken neck. He suffered a broken back. Like. This guy is not a 5 or 6 year more quarterback. You've got him for the next 2 or 3 years, maybe.
I think they got him for 3 or 4.
Well, he is 32, isn't he? So, honestly, if you look at today's NFL, you have him for at least 11 more years.
You have him for 11 more years if he's healthy.
If he's healthy.
This guy's already been through this much, and we know that as you get older, regardless of the amount of stuff that you're going through in the NFL, it's hard to keep your body up as it is. But it's even harder when you're recovering from broken necks, broken backs, broken vertebrae, like Matthew Stafford. They are going to have to keep him upright if they want to get 4 to 5 years, or like you're talking, Buck, 11 years out of him. If they get 11 years out of him, I'm telling you right now, they absolutely stole this trade. But
does anybody know how many years is left on Matthew Stafford's contract?
I believe 3. I think it's something like that. 3.
So
2 or 3.
Who is eating Jared Goff's salary? Because, guys, just 16 – actually, it was like a year and a half ago now. He signed a $100 million contract. So are the Lions eating all that?
Yeah.
So basically the Lions have to draft good with these picks to build around Jared Goff.
Yep.
Like they simply have to. So I mean, it is what it is. So, guys, we are going to go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, it's absolutely insane the way that the Lions, what the Lions got. Yeah, they're gonna be paying a lot of money, but it's still, I mean, what they got in return just in the picks alone. Not so much Jared Goff, because I don't think Jared Goff is a quarterback of the future, but I think with the draft picks that they got in return, they can find a suitable replacement within those draft picks.
Yeah, only time will tell, but the Detroit Lions are playoff bound next year. Guarantee it right here. Michael Buckhead should put his words on it. I said it last year too, so take it for what it's worth.
He just said the Lions are playoff bound.
Yeah, they are. 10-6. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick little break here on the Man Hour. On the other side of the break, we have the Wyatt Williams NFL Mock Draft 1.0 right here on the Man Hour.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? It is the Wyatt Williams, and we're here with the Mock Monday, hashtag Mock Monday Draft 1.0 for Wyatt Williams, the Wyatt Williams, and let's get started, gentlemen. Y'all ready?
The Wyatt Williams.
Look,
man, you are not the Wyatt. You're just you're the youngin. You're not
Wyatt Williams.
All right.
Can you name one other Wyatt Williams that's as famous as I am? Just saying. Oh man, all right, let's do this. With the first overall pick in the hashtag Mock Monday 1.0, round 1, pick 1, the Jacksonville Jaguars are selecting Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Clemson. Reasons why: exceptional football IQ. The guy is a beast. I mean, as you can see here on these highlights, elite physical gifts. He can throw like crazy. He can run like crazy. He's an awesome football IQ guy. Look at this play here. Drops back, looking deep, connects. Beautiful pass there against a college defense here. As he's a quick learner as well, and he has a lot of room to grow. That is a big thing that I like about Trevor Lawrence, is that he is not fully developed yet. He is not peaked yet. I do not think in my mind he is not yet. He is still got room to grow. He's still got room to excel, and he can take over an NFL offense on day one and become a household name for a top quarterback in the league. Like I said, Trevor Lawrence with that number 1 overall pick to Jacksonville.
Yeah, and look, I don't disagree with you there. They're gonna go with Trevor Lawrence. I have not been a big Trevor Lawrence guy. I don't think that Trevor Lawrence is the number one pick in this draft. I don't think that Trevor Lawrence is going to be in the NFL what he was in college. As we see all these highlights, I mean, I'm seeing Wake Forest. I even think I saw Mercer in there or something. He is not picking apart NFL-type defenses. Some of these scrambles, even that scramble that they showed earlier against Notre Dame, that scramble...
Look at this Notre Dame defense.
Right there. That Notre Dame defense, look at that is not going to happen in the NFL. NFL defenses are not going to open up like that for him. And so I just don't like the pick.
With the second pick in the Wyatt Williams #Mock Monday 1.0 draft, the New York Jets are going to take at the second pick Penei Sewell, left tackle at Oregon. Okay, as a left tackle, he is everything you would want. He's athletic. He's very fast off the snap. Great pass and run blocker. He can do anything that you want from him. He provides great protection for Sam Darnold, and that's exactly what they need. Here, as you see, a very intense guy on the field, a killer in combo blocks. If you catch him on the side, he is sending you, okay? You are going to meet Jesus if he hits you from the side, and you have no clue he's doing so. He has nice length for pass blocking to keep defensive ends away, nice edge rushers. He has a nice length to keep them off of him, and he has a potential to play anywhere on the offensive line, and he is the biggest thing I like about this guy. Anytime you watch him, he is never on the ground. You'll never find him on the ground. You'll always find him there with those big hits, pushing guys off to the side. Here as we see him, literally just shaves the guy. Look at that. It's incredible. Look at that
he's great,
side push. He's incredible.
I agree. Again, I mean, this second pick in a row, I agree with this is who is going to go. I just think it's going to be a different team drafting him because I believe that the Jets trade out of this position, and I know that the mock drafts, you don't include trades and any of that stuff. But I really do believe that the Jets trade out of this position. I believe that they get Deshaun Watson in that trade. So I believe this is going to be the Houston Texans pick. I still think that they go ahead because I believe they get Darnold in that trade as well. I still think they go with Penei Sewell here and get somebody to pass protect for Sam Darnold.
Absolutely. And now as we move on to round one, pick 3. Here, it's going to be Miami selecting in the #Mock Monday 1.0. It is going to be wide receiver Devonta Smith out of Alabama. Okay, that national championship locked him up this third overall pick. 100%. If the Miami Dolphins are sitting at 3 and drafting, he's going there. Okay, we have all seen what he did in the Natty. That is simple. We saw how dominant he was for just a half. He can play any wide receiver position. You can throw him in the slot. You can throw him outside. You can throw him at XYZ, whatever receiver you want to say. He can be there. He is awesome, and we saw it a lot in college. He has awesome hand control and awesome body movement for such a small frame. And Miami's number one problem, we've said this many times on the show, their number one problem is a lack of wide receiver weapons, and Smith is a wide receiver weapon for sure. As you see all these highlights here, this is a Georgia defense. These are good SEC defenses right here. And look at that toe tap there on the back sideline. Incredible athlete, incredible player. He brings a lot of athleticism to his small size. You really wouldn't expect him to be as dominant as he is all the way across the board, but he is an incredible player. Heisman Trophy winner as well, I should add.
Yeah. Now, see, this is one where we can actually start debating because I think that Devonta Smith his draft stock definitely rose as he played later in the season, but I still think even his teammate might be a better NFL product than him in Jalen Waddle. I still think that the other Jalen Smith, I believe that he is a better wide receiver talent than Devonta Smith, but I think that you're right because I think that the end of his season and the way he played in that national championship game, I think that NFL, it's that mindset of what have you done for me lately, and he's got the most recent what have you done for me. So I think that that's probably who goes first as wide receivers.
With the fourth pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, it is going to be Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. And this is a guy, okay, I think has potential to be the number one quarterback in this draft. Absolutely he does. He is amazing with his abilities to step up into the pocket. He evades pressure well from anywhere, whether if it's, like I said, in the pocket, outside of the pocket. He can step up, step out. He can move when he can make plays with his legs. He is clutch. We saw that many times all year long. He's clutch. As we see him use his legs right here on this play. Nice spin move, dives for the end zone, not scared of contact. His accuracy is a rare ability that he has. I mean, his accuracy is spectacular. The way that he is able to move his body and throw on the run while still even in the pocket while stepping up and throwing, it's awesome. But the thing I like the most about this kid that puts him far apart from everybody else, every other quarterback in this draft right now, he is the most poised and comfortable quarterback in the pocket of anybody right now in this draft. He is never threatened at all times. And like I said, he has the potential to be the best quarterback in this draft. I would not be shocked at all if 10 years down the road we looked up and Zach Wilson is a prime NFL quarterback. That's somebody that, is a household name.
Yeah, this is who I have at number 1. I think he is the best quarterback in this draft. I agree with you there. And that's who I would pick if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars. But we all know who they like. So next pick is in.
With the 5th pick in the Wyatt Williams mock 1.0, it is going to be Samuel Cosmi, offensive tackle, out of Texas. Okay, he is a giant, an absolute giant at 6'7" and 310 pounds. He is a unit. He played 14 games at right tackle and 21 games at left tackle. So he's shown that he can play anywhere across the board. On either side of the field. He is great from anywhere. He has room to improve as a run blocker, I will say, but he has great athleticism for a 310-pounder. He runs like the wind, as they say in Toy Story. He needs to gain a little more muscle weight, I will say, and a little more strength in his legs. But if he can do those things, he can be a top offensive lineman in the league. I truly do believe that. He is a great talent. Here, as we see many of these plays, lines up great, really athletic, and like I said, he's a giant. He has got the body to be an offensive tackle in the NFL.
That's the one thing that I noticed too, is that he doesn't have a whole lot of muscle mass for an offensive lineman. But once he gains that, because he'll get that in the NFL. I mean, he's gonna gain a lot of muscle. They'll get him going right. He's going to be a force, and he is going to be protecting a very hot commodity down there in Bengals. For the Bengals and Joe Burrow. So I like this pick at number 5, and I think that the Bengals are going to do great things this offseason as well.
With the 6th pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0 Mock Monday, hashtag Mock Monday, it is going to be Micah Parsons to the Philadelphia Eagles, linebacker out of Penn State. Okay, this guy right here, as you see on these highlights, could potentially be the steal of this draft. At 6, he could be the number 1 guy in this draft, absolutely. And we've seen a recent trend in good linebackers that are short and fast. Devin Bush, Devin White, those guys have been really successful so far into the league. But as well as he's a great pass rusher, he beats people to their spots. It's the biggest thing you'll notice on this highlight tape, whether if it's a blocker, whether if it's a ball carrier, he beats everyone to their position, and he beats everyone to where that they are looking to get to. He creates a lot of turnovers, as you see there, as awesome. See that right there? Forced fumble, balls out on the ground, and he has a potential to be an awesome and a top middle linebacker in the NFL.
Yeah, again, this is another pick that I really, really like here. And I think that, the Eagles are getting a very good linebacker, a Roquan Smith type linebacker here. Somebody who is just a playmaker and a ball hawk. So I like that pick over there at number 6 as well. Moving on to the next pick here, though, we might have some questions. So,
with the 7th pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock Monday draft, it is going to be to the Detroit Lions quarterback Justin Fields from the Ohio State University. Okay, I know. Before we even get into it, Jared Goff, we'll talk about that here in a minute, but to start it off, let's talk about him as a whole. Big arm, big legs. He makes big plays with his arms, and he can step up and he can make big plays with his legs, as we'll see on this highlight tape a lot. Here, as you see him drop back, looking over the middle. He throws. I mean, look at that spiral, tight spiral. It's a beautiful pass, right on target, right where you would want it. But 2020 was not his best season. Absolutely, I'm not going to doubt that. I'm not going to deny that. It showed some cracks in his game, but he does not make mistakes often. He does not make mistakes often. He throws the ball very well on the run as well, which is something we're seeing a trend in quarterbacks nowadays as well. But he also is able to pass out of the pocket as well. He's able to just sit in the pocket, throw those balls downfield. I think, we had Russell Wilson kind of really come in and evolve the quarterback game for the mobile quarterback that can throw the ball. Kyler Murray's kind of touched on that a little bit. I think this is the number 3 guy to do that. I think this guy is going to, change the quarterback position even more to evolve it and make it more of a running quarterback that can throw the ball. And he benefits hugely in RPO situations, which is another big trend that we're seeing in NFL players now. Now,
one
I promise everybody
I want to point out. Yeah. Now,
go ahead, buddy.
What I want to point out to everybody is that you did this and you sent us these picks before this trade was made this weekend.
Yes.
So I don't think that they go quarterback here, and probably in your next draft, you probably don't have them there either. But if they do go quarterback here, I don't like Justin Fields as much as I really, really, really like Trey Lance. And so I think that if they do go quarterback here, and if they are looking for somebody to take over for Jared Goff, 2 to 3 years down the road, Trey Lance is your guy above a Justin Fields.
I could see that as well. The big thing that I like about this move, even if, in the next mock I don't keep Justin Fields there, if I do keep him by any chance, I do think that Justin Fields could compete with Jared Goff for that job, and they have a lot of picks to back that up to just in case if that move doesn't work. And you can always trade them away. I mean, they've got picks to move as well, so that could be something we see down the road eventually. But now moving on to Carolina with the 8th pick in the Wyatt Williams mock 1.0. It is going to be Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida. I absolutely love this guy. Look at him. He's incredible. He's huge. He's got a big frame, runs down the field. As a tight end, he can outrun safeties. Crazy athlete. Here's the thing I like about him the most, and this is something I like in all football players. He's a former quarterback. That speaks volumes to me. That tells me he can read defenses. That tells me that he knows routes even better. He knows where to go, what a quarterback would like. It advances his game even further. And on top of that, he's a smart guy. The biggest name that I can think of here when I watch him play is Jimmy Graham. Okay, he is a tight end that can play wide receiver all the way across the board. And he is a big time struggle for linebackers in one-on-one run block situations. He is not scared to turn upfield and, in the box, in that 8-man box, he's not scared to run upfield and block a linebacker. He's not scared of those one-on-one run block situations. He's able to do that. So that's something else I really like about him. But the biggest thing is his hand size. He can bring in the football like nobody's business. He's an incredible athlete. He reads defenses awesomely. Very smart football IQ guy. As we see here, look at that catch. I mean, just a great hand-sized guy.
I really like this kid, Kyle Pitts. This kid is a bona fide stud at tight end. I think that his draft stock changes a little bit as these trades go on with the quarterbacks and all that stuff. I think that maybe he might even go a little bit earlier or could possibly go a little bit later, depending on how this shakes up and what these teams ultimately decide to do as far as the trades go.
With the 9th pick in the Wyatt Williams mock 1.0, the Denver Broncos are going to take Kwity Paye, edge rusher from Michigan. All right, as you see on these plays here, he's a freak athlete. I mean, he is incredible with blitzes coming off the edge. You can even use him inside a little bit, as you saw on that play. See, he's inside there. Nice way to evade the guard. Runs inside, makes a great tackle on the quarterback, brings him down. The guy is a stud. He has a high ceiling anywhere he is, whether if they put him as an edge rusher, he can play some interiors we saw there, maybe even as an outside linebacker in a 3-4 set. He wouldn't be bad there either. His athletic ability coming off the edge, though, is explosive and just 100 mile an hour, 24/7. You see there, the hands are always moving. They're going crazy. The feet are always chopping. I will say though, he does need some tweaking on the fundamentals. As a fundamental football player, he needs some tweaking for coming around the edge, but he does have powerful hands and he's got great strength, as we see they're able to punch that ball out on that play. Watch him reach around here on this quarterback. Boom. And the ball is going to come popping out right there. But he is a hand-in-the-dirt defensive end, I think, is what he'll be in the NFL. But like I said, the guy is tough to beat on the edge. He could play anywhere, for whether if it's inside, outside, whether if it's outside linebacker or defensive end.
Now, two things I noticed about this guy. At first, when I first saw his name, I was like, is this guy's name really Cutie Pie? Like, I really thought that was his name at first when I first saw it. Secondly, I was wondering why I'd never seen this kid play, and then I realized that he plays for Michigan. And that program has just been down over the last couple of years, and as a Notre Dame fan, can't say I don't like seeing it. But Michigan, like this kid, watching his tape, this kid's the real deal. I really like this pick here for the Denver Broncos, especially with the defense that they already have.
With the 10th pick in the Wyatt Williams mock draft 1.0, it is going to be Patrick Surtain, the second cornerback out of Alabama. And here, as you watch these highlights, this guy is a beast. He is a former 5-star recruit for the Crimson Tide. He has a football DNA. I mean, literally, he is the son of former NFL cornerback for Miami and the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Surtain, his dad, the first. He's disciplined. He can struggle a little bit against the deep route. I will admit that has been the big concern for him coming into this draft is will he be able to cover down deep on some speedy receivers? But he is incredible from the flats here. And he's a great athlete. You see him reach around there and knock that ball out from the Texas A&M tight end there. But he is an awesome guy in the flats. He can tackle very well. And, he's a great athlete, and I think that the Dallas Cowboys need that explosiveness on defense again at cornerback ever since the loss of Orlando Scandrick and Byron as well. They haven't really been the same.
Now, see, for me, I think that there's more of a need for the Cowboys on offensive line here. But I can also see the need on defense. But that offensive line, you could tell, especially this year, they weren't able to really run block very well. Their pass protection wasn't great either. Now, I understand that Dak Prescott had a lot to do, and losing Dak Prescott had a lot to do with what the Cowboys did this year or didn't do this year. But I really like offensive line for them early in the draft, as opposed to cornerback. But if they do go with a cornerback, this guy right here, I mean, you can't miss with Patrick Surtain.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. Those are the great first 10 picks of the 2021 mock drafts. So, guys, we are going to take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, we got picks 11 through 20 coming up. So stay tuned right here on the Man Hour. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Wyatt Williams 1.0 2021 NFL mock draft. We gave you guys the first 10 picks to right before the break, so now we're going to do picks 11 through 20. As Drew says, the Cowboys need offensive line in the worst way. Guys, on the other side of that, the Dallas Cowboys were playing on their second and third string offensive linemen all year, so maybe if they get healthy, maybe they'll, go cornerback way.
And that I don't get. Now, leading into our next set of picks here, I want to ask you the same question. So we have another show we've often supported, Infinity Sports. They got a guy named Sully who does his own mock drafts. This kid is just as good as you are, Wyatt, with all of this stuff. Maybe
Wyatt's
not
better.
as good as you, but he's close. And so I threw a name out there at him with offensive line, and he was befuddled. He was like, I never heard of this guy. Have you heard of Nolan Laufenberg from Air Force? He's an offensive guard.
I have not.
Okay, so this guy is not on any mock draft board anywhere. Before the season, he was the third-ranked offensive lineman in college football. He was a first-team All-American, and he is entered into the draft. But he is on no draft boards. Have you ever seen anybody's stock plummet like that? Or, I mean, is this guy just like a diamond in the rough that nobody knows about?
Either he's a diamond in the rough or he had injury. Something's going on
No
here
injury.
because
They only played 2 games.
Oh, I have no clue. Then that's so weird. Like I said, I've never even heard of him.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched this kid as he's played. I've looked at his tape. I've looked at everything I can. And this kid is really, really good. He's going to be a really good offensive lineman, whoever picks him up. And he's available in this draft, but he's not on any mock draft board anywhere out there in any round. He's projected to go undrafted. And, like, nobody's ever heard of him.
Just an undrafted free agent gem.
This kid was a first-team All-American heading into this season. Like, I don't, like, it baffles my mind that this kid has just disappeared. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I'm trying to get him to come on the show so we can talk to him about it. Maybe he knows something we don't, but we'll see if we can get him on to talk about him. But I wanted to see, heading into these picks, if you knew anything about him.
No, absolutely. I'll do some research, though.
Sweet. All right. So we were waiting on the draft jingle, but we did not get a draft jingle. So with the number 11 pick, the New York Giants are going to go with... Oh, there we go.
Wide receiver Jamar Chase out of LSU. Oh, man, that's hilarious. But, hey, every year we see wide receivers fall in the draft, whether if it was DK Metcalf, whether if it was Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb fell super later than what they normally or what they were projected, all that stuff. And this is my fall guy. This is the guy I think will fall late into this draft. I think he's a top 5 guy talent-wise, but I think he'll fall just because of the 2020 season not really playing or anything. But every year, like I said, we see these guys that fall, and Chase is one of these guys who, as a sophomore, okay, he had 1,780 yards and 20 touchdowns to put on top of that. He's a great route runner. He has awesome size. He's a great blocker on the outside for running backs when they come out there to not be tackled by corners. Moves very well on the outside, like I said. The biggest thing I like about this kid is he fits all schemes. He is a coachable kid who can work in any offense, in any setting, with any quarterback. He is just an all-around great athlete with great size, with great hands, and great speed, as you see there. Burns the corner, gets on the outside. Another great play here. Throws across, awesome slant right, evades the tackler, running up the field, and he's eventually going to. We'll see if he gets in. Yes, he does. He gets in, but yeah, I didn't want to say he got in and then he gets tackled like the 1 or something. I wanted to make sure, but he does. The biggest thing I don't like about him is he's got a lack of experience, only playing 14 games. But in those 14 games, he rocked it out. He was crazy there with Joe Burrow. He was the number 1 option for Joe Burrow, and he was the number 1 option over top of somebody that's very well known right now, Rookie of the Year candidate Justin Jefferson. So if you're a quote-unquote better receiver for a quarterback to throw to than Justin Jefferson, clearly you've got something going on there. So I think this guy is going to fall and be really good for whatever team he goes to.
Which is why I am so baffled why everybody is saying that Devontae Smith is going at number 3 to the Miami Dolphins, because to me, this is your top wide receiver in this draft. Regardless of the season that Devontae Smith had at the end of the year this year, which sticks in everybody's mind, this kid right here is the best. I mean, he's a better route runner than Devontae Smith. He's got better hands than Devontae Smith. He's bigger than Devontae Smith. Like, this kid does everything better than Devontae Smith, but everybody's like, no, Devontae Smith's going as the number 1 wide receiver in this draft.
Because that Heisman, man. It's that recency bias. They all love it.
Yeah.
And with the 12th pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the San Francisco 49ers are taking Caleb Farley, cornerback of Virginia Tech. The Hokie star here, as you'll see on this highlight reel, great pick, really athletic guy. But like I said, I'm going to bring up something I brought up earlier. He played quarterback in high school. I love guys that are former quarterbacks. I love guys that can read, even on the defensive side, that helps you out even more, because then you know what quarterbacks are looking for in defenses. It gives you that extra step up. Now, in college, when he started out, he was a wide receiver and transitioned to cornerback as for the 2019 season, and he has shined for the Hokies ever since. Even though with the new position, he's adapted very well, all that good stuff. Man coverage, he is exceptional. The biggest concern with this kid that everybody's looking at right now is the injuries. He has a little bit of a concern there with injuries because he had a non-contact ACL tear in 2017, some back spasms in 2019, and so he's had some injury scares there a little bit. It hasn't been completely ideal for what you would want in your cornerback or your first round draft pick. But as you see on this highlight tape, if this kid stays healthy, he is going to be, you heard it first right here. If this kid stays healthy, he is going to be the best cornerback in this draft, and he's going to be a top 5 corner in the league if he can stay healthy. Mark my words on that right now. He is awesome, and he can read receivers very well because he played it. He knows what the quarterback likes because he was a quarterback. The kid's a great talent, super athletic. And you would think when somebody switches positions 3 times, you would think eventually like they'd hit that brick wall. Like, okay, well, the kid just can't play football anymore. That's what the problem is. Like, he's just a good athlete. But no, I mean, he stepped up. And instead of most guys who transition positions in high school, in college or even in high school as well, they're learning the ropes as they go along. But he jumped in as a cornerback and was a star from day one and looked like he had been playing it since Pee Wee.
Yeah, that's why if I had to liken this kid to anybody in the NFL playing right now, I'd liken him to Taysom Hill. I think that this kid can come in and be a gimmick guy. He can play corner, but he can also play wide receiver, and he could throw a couple of passes for you if you need to.
Sure.
I really like this kid
Money
to
maker.
be a Taysom Hill type guy for the San Francisco 49ers.
With the 13th overall pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the Los Angeles Chargers are taking Rashawn Slaughter he's with Northwestern, the offensive tackle. He opted out of the 2020 season, so we didn't really get a big taste of the guy here. As you watch this highlight tape, you'll see some of his clips from 2019, but he played well against guys in the Big Ten defensive ends like Chase Young, for example. That's a big one. He was incredible against Chase Young and many of their setups. But I will say the guy is probably, because he's only 6'4", he'll most likely get moved to a guard or center position in the NFL. But I will say he's got a high ceiling at both of those positions. He could play some great interior offensive line as well. And if that happens, he has potential to be a Pro Bowler down the road if he can get better with his interior offensive line skills. And he jumps in and he's really good.
Yeah, I've seen this kid a lot at Northwestern. I watch a lot of Northwestern football here in Chicago, and this kid can block. And to move, I think moving him to inside line, even though he is only 6'4", I think that would do him a disservice. I watched this guy versus Chase Young, and Chase Young is a top, defensive end in this league, and the things that this kid was able to do against a guy like Chase Young.
Look at it right there. He's bullying Chase Young right there.
Right, and he's just controlling them. And so I think that this kid can stay put, even though he is smaller than the average offensive tackle. I really think that he can stay put and be fine just right where he's at in the NFL.
If he does stay put, I would like to see him at right tackle.
Yeah.
With the 14th overall pick in the Wyatt Williams mock 1.0, the Minnesota Vikings are going to take Christian Dorsal, the offensive tackle from Virginia Tech. So we're going to take back-to-back OTs here. He started as a true freshman, so he has got a lot of reps in. He's been starting for a long time. He's a guy that we know can play football really well. He checks all of the boxes to become a starting left tackle right as soon as he enters the league. He checks every single box, everything you'd want out of a guy. He's got it. Plus, he adds some really nice protection for an aging Kirk Cousins at quarterback for Minnesota. So it would be really nice for them to have him. Plus, it would be nice to stack up that offensive line as well for Dalvin Cook, who is an awesome running back. And if Dalvin Cook leaves, say, Alexander Madison behind him, but also to give Kirk time to throw down the field to many of his weapons. Yeah. But he checks all the boxes for exactly what you would want. He was awesome at Virginia Tech. He started, like I said, as a true freshman, was a starter. That's not something you see very often, especially not with offensive line.
Yeah, see, I really like for the Vikings here to go quarterback. Whether it's Justin Fields or Trey Lance, whichever one is available at the time, I really like Minnesota to go quarterback here. I think that they need somebody who's ready to take over in probably about 1 to 2 years, once Kirk Cousins is done. And I think that they really need to go quarterback here. I think that that's the pick for the Minnesota Vikings. This might be the first pick that I just disagree with you with. I don't think that they go offensive line. I think they go quarterback with their first pick.
Here is the big one. This is the interesting one. With the 15th overall pick in the Wyatt Williams mock 1.0, the New England Patriots are taking quarterback Trey Lance out of North Dakota State University. I will say, I think he's a poor man's Justin Fields. I think he's a really good athlete, as you'll see here with this nice stiff arm on the QB design run play. Not sure if that was a read option or not. I didn't see it at the beginning of the play, but still, he can hurt you with his legs. He works really well out of the pistol or the shotgun situation with the formations and stuff, but he can run an offense from under center as well, which is kind of a lost art now for NFL quarterbacks. You don't really see a lot of guys be able to run a offense full-time under center. He is capable of doing so. And the biggest thing that I do like about this kid is his legs. I mean, he can extend plays with his legs. He can throw with power and accuracy while on the run. He can throw it while in the pocket like that, as you see on this throw right here. Downfield, nice connection there, nice accuracy behind it as well. But he is a disciplined guy as well, doesn't make a ton of mistakes, and I think he's going to be a backup for maybe 1 or 2 years. I think that's the guy he is, and develop, and then after that he could be a starter.
Yeah, see, look, I know you said he's a poor man Justin Fields. I actually think he's a poor man's Patrick Mahomes. I really, really like this kid's game. This kid can beat you in a variety of ways, just like Patty Mahomes can. He knows when to get rid of the ball, unlike Justin Fields, and more like Patrick Mahomes. This kid is very, very good. Now, the one thing I don't like here is that the Patriots, for one, they're going to trade this pick some way, somehow. They're going to trade down. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bears jump up here if Trey Lance is available to grab a guy like Trey Lance. But the Patriots definitely trade out. And the other thing I don't like about this pick is that the Patriots, if they do stay with their 15th pick overall, there is no way whatsoever that they go quarterback as opposed to running back or offensive line.
They got Damian Harris at running back, though. I really like him.
Yeah, but I'm different with Damian. I don't think Damian Harris is a formidable running back, heading forward for the New England Patriots. I like a guy like a Travis Etienne if they're going to draft a running back, or I like a guy, or I like them trading for a more pass catching running back out of the backfield, and that's what the Patriots like to do. That's what Bill Belichick likes to do, and so this is probably the second one in a row now where I think we just disagree on which route they're going to go.
Speaking of Travis Etienne, with the 16th overall pick in the Wyatt Williams mock 1.0, the Arizona Cardinals are selecting Travis Etienne, running back out of Clemson. He is a big play running back here, as you'll see on this highlight tape coming up momentarily. He can hurt you in any situation, whether if he's running the ball, with his legs, whether if he is receiving the ball. Either way, this kid can hurt you. Just look at the speed here. Outrunning defenders, getting into the end zone, scored a ton of touchdowns, got a lot of yardage, whether if it would be through catching the ball. But the biggest thing I like about him as well is that he's a very disciplined player. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's not the kind of guy that'll try and break 5 tackles that ends up losing 5 or 6 yards because of it. If he knows he's going backwards, he's going to fall down. He's going to be the guy that will not make a ton of mistakes for you. And he is an absolute nightmare for linebackers to defend. And that's the biggest thing we see nowadays is linebackers coming off the edge and defending running backs. But here's we see it again, a linebacker in coverage and just blows by him. He is a threat, a scary guy. If I was a linebacker, I would not want to have to cover him.
Yeah, and that's why I like him to the Patriots if they stay at 15, because he fits their offensive play scheme so well. This kid is a beast. If it wasn't for the fact that, most teams don't take running backs in the first round and it's deemed as a running back in the first round or running back in the first round is a wasted pick, I think he should go higher in the draft. I think he's a better player than some of these guys that are getting picked. But again, because of that running back bias in the first round, I think that's why his draft stock dropped so low and he's available for the Cardinals at 16.
With the 17th pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the Las Vegas Raiders are taking Joseph Ossai, edge rusher out of Texas. Okay, the kid started 24 out of 36 games that he played in. At Texas, which is a tough place to play. He has tons of frame about him. He's a really big, stout kid, nice body, exactly what you would want in his position. He's got a lot of room to grow on the outside, I will say, though. But he can also play outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense. He's a universal guy. You can really stick anywhere, not just a guy you would just put on the edge. Here you see him come screaming off the edge and just, enforces his will. He is a great player all around. And even if it is away from his side, you see the quarterback start scrambling away from him, play is designed to go left. He has the speed and the athleticism to chase down these guys. He is a threat even while the play is not coming right at him. So, and also he can run it in a 5 technique with a 4-man front as well. So really just a universal guy that you can really stick anywhere on the team. Here you see him with the block and the interception stuff. So just a really good athlete. I'm really excited to see what this kid does in the NFL.
Yeah, and he's a kid that not a lot of people get to see because he plays in Texas. And they've been a down program for a little while. Mike LeBlanc is probably the only one who would recognize this kid. But this kid, watching his film, he is a very good edge rusher. He is a guy that a lot of defenses would love have coming off the edge of the line. And so I don't mind this pick for the Raiders at all.
With the 18th pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the Miami Dolphins are taking Jalen Waddle, wide receiver of Alabama. Now, yes, I know 2 wide receivers, first round. They're both from Bama to Miami. It would work. I really do think it would work. They already have chemistry. The 2 guys have played together. As you see here, he's a big playmaker. The guy is a smaller receiver. He can play punt returner as well, as you see right here on this play. An all-around great athlete. But if Jalen didn't get hurt this season and he didn't have to miss some time, I truly do think that he could have been better than Devonta Smith, and I think he had the potential to be a better receiver. I know Combs mentioned that earlier. I agree 100%. I think Waddle has some attributes about him that make him even a better receiver now than Devonta Smith. But I think with him being out, it gave Devonta those reps that Waddle would have gotten, and we even saw Waddle in the national championship. He played very well with the few times that he. Yeah, even on a bad ankle as well. But he's a speedy, big play wide receiver that can line up anywhere. You could toss this kid in the slot. You can toss this kid anywhere. He can even line up in the backfield. He can line up literally anywhere that you would want him on the field. You can put him there. So he's just an incredible athlete.
Yeah, no, I agree. So look, I really like Jalen Waddle. I like him better than Devontae Smith. I like him over Jamar Chase. I really like Jalen Waddle as one of the top wide receivers in this draft. But I also like what you did there, because if they do stick with Tua, if Miami does stick with Tua, to have 2 wide receivers that he played with in college,
and Tua's got exactly
huge. Yeah,
that's all chemistry.
Huge. So if they don't trade for Deshaun Watson and they don't get rid of Tua, these 2 picks here make a lot of sense to me, going wide receiver twice in the NFL draft.
So I want to bring up a comment here before we go again. Bring us back up here real quick. Jameson Joseph Jackson asked, can I get a rundown of who's gone so far? Yes, we'll run those down real quick. So with the first pick, Jacksonville took Trevor Lawrence. Second pick, the Jets took Penei Sewell. Third pick, Devonta Smith to the Dolphins. Fourth pick, quarterback Zach Wilson to the Falcons. Fifth pick is going to be the Bengals, taking Samuel Cosmi, offensive tackle. Sixth pick is going to be Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State, to the Philadelphia Eagles. The seventh pick was Justin Fields, quarterback out of Ohio State, to the Detroit Lions. With the eighth pick, we have the incredibly athletic former quarterback, tight end, current tight end, Kyle Pitts, to the Carolina Panthers. After that, we have the ninth pick, which is going to be Kwity Paye, the edge rusher, going to the Denver Broncos. With the 10th pick, it was Patrick Surtain, the second cornerback out of Alabama. He is going to the Dallas Cowboys. As for the 11th pick, we got Jamar Chase, wide receiver out of the New York Giants. With that 12th pick, I saw you asked earlier, it is the San Francisco 49ers are taking Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Really good athlete, a guy that transitioned positions a couple of times. With the 13th overall pick, the Los Angeles Chargers are taking Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. Then the Minnesota Vikings are taking Christian Darrisaw. After that, with the 15th overall pick, this is the big blockbuster one for me. That is going to be the New England Patriots taking quarterback Trey Lance out of NDSU. Following that, we have the 16th overall pick with Travis Etienne, running back out of Clemson, headed to the Arizona Cardinals. Then after that, with the 17th overall pick, we got Joseph Asai, the edge rusher, headed to the Las Vegas Raiders. And then after that, we have the one we just did, which is Jalen Waddle, wide receiver out of Alabama, to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, now see, why it was nice to you there, Jameson, I would have said you could catch it tomorrow morning on the replay at 8 o'clock once we put the replay up. But Wyatt did go ahead and break it down for you. Most of those picks, again, I agree with, and a couple we haven't. But, again, you can catch that on the replay tomorrow. Wyatt?
With the 19th pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the Washington football team are taking Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota. So the guy is a vertical threat, okay? Impressive route running, a crazy good athlete. And he's got really good ball skills, got really good with catching the ball, and he's super competitive. Here you see the speed coming off the edge, be able to fight through a tackler, finally drug down out of bounds. But he tracks the ball down very well as well. As you see him throw it here, tracks it down very well. Nice post-catch movement, getting himself down the field for those yak yardage, that is yards after catch. And if he gets a good NFL QB behind him, I could really see Bateman being another wide receiver in this draft that could be a star guy, a Pro Bowl wide receiver down the road. He would just need the right pieces in front of him. And if he could get that, and I think he could even get that with Washington, with Scary Terry there with him as well. So I think it's a really good pickup for them to get another weapon for whoever the quarterback ends up being of the future for that team.
Yeah, see, and that's why I think this is high for this kid here, because I think you're right. I think he does need a quality quarterback to work with him. I think he needs a quality coaching staff to work with him. I'm not sure that Washington is the right fit for this kid, and I'm not sure that this kid really should go in the first round. I feel like his talents are not, what the talents of some other, players are in this draft. Although, Washington definitely needs some wide receivers. I think they need a quarterback more than they need a wide receiver. But at this point in the draft, there might not be a quality quarterback available in this draft. So we'll see.
With the 20th pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the Chicago Bears are taking Jalen Mayfield, offensive tackle out of Michigan. The guy can play either side of the offensive line. Okay, he can play left tackle, right tackle, and you could even put him at guard if needed. The Bears need a little bit of offensive line help, and I think this guy adds that to exactly what they need here. As you see him on that pass pro, he is great off the edge there. You'll see him on the right side there. And this is Alabama. These are for real rushers. This is SEC defenses that he is moving guys out of the way, allowing his running back to advance the ball forward. But the guy has a great attitude. He's a great athlete, and he has the potential to be the best offensive lineman taken in this NFL draft for sure. He's got 15 starts at Michigan, and I am most confident in Mayfield that he will be an awesome talent. This is the one guy taken, the one probably offensive lineman taken past 15 that I can tell you right now, if Jalen Mayfield stays healthy, he is going to be a great talent. Like I said, at left tackle, right guard, left guard, even at center. You could put him anywhere on the offensive line. He is a great talent, and I think the Bears it would be an awesome move for them to take him.
Look, I am so tired of the Bears taking offensive linemen in the first round. I am so tired of them screwing up number 1 draft picks in the first. I'm just tired of the Bears drafting with Ryan Pace as the GM, so you're probably right here. They probably go with another offensive tackle. He's probably going to break his ankle or something or ruin his career in the first 5 games of the season, and we're never going to see him again because that's what the Bears do. It doesn't really matter who you would have picked here. I probably was going to boo you anyway. But this Jalen, look, I guess if you take a offensive lineman, that's who you go with. I hope they go a different direction. I actually hope they trade up and move into position to grab a quarterback.
And I hope they sell their franchise and just quit the NFL 100%. But we all can't get what we want. So, guys, we are going to take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, we have picks 21 through 32, the last of the first round here on the Wyatt Williams 2021 NFL Mock Draft 1.0. And welcome back to Wyatt Williams, NFL Mock Draft 1.0 right here on the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can listen to this on podcast form. We will also have a replay of the show tomorrow afternoon, or I should say tomorrow morning, at 11 a.m. East Coast time. Wyatt, you given us 20 solid picks so far, even though Combs does not agree with pick number 20. So, Combs, where would you go with the pick number? Well,
if I'm the Bears,
20 is dear to your heart.
So if I'm Ryan Pace, what I'm doing is I'm trading up. But of course, if I'm Ryan Pace, my head's up my butt and I don't know my ass from my elbows. That's a different story. If I'm Ryan Pace, what I do is I trade up. I probably trade up with the New England Patriots, and I try to get Trey Lance if he's still available. Now, he shouldn't be available that late in the draft, but I think that he will be. So that's what I do if I'm the Chicago Bears.
So I do want to address this comment real quick. Absolutely, I totally agree with you on this one. This mock draft was done before all the trade went through and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we'll have the updated mock here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and Drew put you in your place here, Buck. Cannot get rid of one of the original founding teams of the NFL. 100 years of history.
And you can't get rid of them either because they give Packers 2 free wins every year. Like, I'm perfectly fine with the Bears being a thing.
Hey,
alrighty.
Wyatt.
Yeah. Let's see it. Conor McGregor. Go ahead and pull it up here. There it is. Oh, man. Oh, all right. Oh, man. So with the 21st overall pick, the Indianapolis Colts in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0 are taking J.C. Horn, cornerback out of South Carolina. Another guy that has some NFL DNA in him. His father was a former NFL wide receiver, Joe Horn. But he's got a long, stocky frame, built for competing with X receivers in the NFL. If you see here, you can really use him in any aspect. You could blitz him here. You see him come up on the quarterback and intercept it right there. He's a great athlete, can make a lot of awesome moves. And he also proves himself by the sheer fact that he plays in the SEC. So he plays against real good offenses, unlike North Dakota State quarterbacks and stuff like that. That's why I like these guys even more whenever they play in the SEC. They play real, genuine offenses.
Look, you come at my boy Trey Lance all you want, but he's still probably the best quarterback in this draft next to Zach Wilson. I like him more than I like Trevor Lawrence. But anyways, the Colts don't need much. Look, the Colts are a quarterback away. I think they get that quarterback through trade as opposed to draft. I don't think you get a quarterback in this draft that really changes your franchise. But I think that they get their guy through. And so adding this kid to an already really, really good defense is just going to shore up even more. If once they get their guy through trade and quarterback, the Indianapolis Colts are going to be a tough out in the AFC.
Well, and I agree with you too on the fact that I don't think they would take a quarterback. I don't think they would take anybody in the offense. The offense is totally stout. The only hole that you could maybe consider a hole on the entire team, and I would even still consider it a hole, is that DB crew. You don't really have a signature D. When you look at when you look at the Colts defensive line, everybody knows DeForest Buckner's up there, Justin Tuck. You've got those guys that are key guys. When you look at that linebacker crew, Darius Leonard, he is a top linebacker in the league. So they have their signature guys everywhere, except for I really think at that cornerback position, even though their DBs aren't bad, they still got some great DBs.
Didn't they pick up HaHa? Your boy Clinton Dix there?
I'm not sure. I don't remember if they did pick up HaHa or not, but he hasn't been good ever since he was in Green Bay anyways. So it doesn't matter. Oh, I love it. With the 22nd overall pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the Tennessee Titans are taking Elijah Vera Tucker, interior offensive lineman from the University of Southern California, USC. Okay, the guy has great athleticism. He can be a starter at guard on any NFL team day one, just as long as they need a guard. Okay, he is a great player. He's going to be an awesome NFL player. He's great. in pass pro and run blocking. Either way you want to throw him in there, zone run, anything, he is a dominant force on the interior side. You can put him any of the three of those interiors. I wouldn't necessarily put him on the outside unless if maybe at a right tackle position. He's not a left tackle whatsoever, but he's got great balance. He's got really good body control. And the biggest thing I like about this kid is how aggressive he is when the ball is snapped. When the ball is snapped, he comes off the line at 278.5 miles an hour. Okay, aggressive as crap coming at that defender, whoever it may be, getting in their face, stopping them from doing anything. And that really helps in your run game. A guy who's able to get off the line super fast, get lower than the other guy, have really good balance while being low. He doesn't fall down. He stays up. And I think this guy is going to be a staple of the NFL possibly for the future. It's going to be a name that we're going to know here in a couple of years. He is not a big name right now, but then to think of it again, ever since Reggie Bush, USC hasn't really had a big name. So,
and that's just one more weapon for them to build around Derrick Henry. Another offensive lineman that can really, excel in run blocking. And so I like this pick for them at 22. You know, if I could argue that they were going to go a different way, I would say they probably need another wide receiver, or maybe even go somewhere on the defensive line with their pick. But I'd be okay with this pick for Tennessee at 22.
And with the 23rd pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the New York Jets are taking Najee Harris, running back out of Alabama. I love this guy. Watch his highlight tape. You know, we won't be able to show you the whole thing here, but do yourself a service right after this. Look at this. Look at that hurdle. I mean, it's crazy.
That
he
hurts
is
me so
nuts.
much because it's Notre Dame, but he's a freak.
He's a freak. He genuinely is. He is Alvin Kamara, the second coming of Alvin Kamara. That's exactly what he is. This crazy athletic guy. But the thing that he brings to the table that Alvin Kamara does not is he's a power back too. He does all this stuff while being a guy who will lower his shoulder and absolutely run through you. Look at the pass blocking skills. Look at the spin move. Look at the athleticism as he brings himself into the end zone. I mean, simple, out into the flats, evades the tackler on the spin move there, and punches it in, able to take hits. He lowers his shoulder really well, and he's a great runner and a pass catcher from both sides, whether if you want him in the screen game, whether if you want him just a handoff counter, inside, dives, whatever run you can think of, pitches. The guy is an absolute unit. And because of Devonta Smith, he's another guy that because of Devonta Smith has fell in this draft because Devonta Smith took up so many reps for that Alabama offense. He has now, been able to fall later in the draft. And I think he is going to he's a very aggressive ball catcher and a very aggressive ball carrier. And I think that he will be very good. He will be a very good NFL player.
Yeah, and like I said, not to mention, but he also they took Penei Sewell earlier in the draft. So now you got Penei Sewell blocking for this kid. Look, when I talk about Najee Harris, and people ask me about Najee Harris, how good he is, I say he's a hybrid. So I think he is a cross of Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara into one quarterback.
Yeah.
Into one running back, I should say. This kid will run you over. This kid can catch the ball out of the slot. This kid can do all sorts of things from the running back position, and he is a force to be reckoned with. If he falls to the Jets at 23, that is an absolute steal for the New York Jets at 23. I would love that pick, especially if they keep Sam Darnold.
With the 24th pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the Pittsburgh Steelers are taking Alex Leatherwood, offensive tackle, out of Alabama. So we're going to see two Bama guys go back-to-back here. A lot of offensive tackles, I will add, in this first round that could be taken, even a lot of potential second-round guys. But getting back to Alex here, he could play anywhere on the offensive line. As you see him step back here, nice blocking. I mean, look at that defender. He doesn't move. He has full control of the defender at all times. He works very well with his hands. You can use him in the run game. You can use him in the pass game. In those doubles like that, nobody's even getting near the quarterback because of this guy. And like I said, he can play anywhere on the offensive line. You can put him anywhere from left tackle to right tackle, anywhere. He has great strength as a run blocker. He deals with quick rushers off the edge very well. Okay, nobody is getting around this guy. Nobody's going through him. He does really well with every kind of a rusher you could think of here. His power blocking in the gaps is what he's really known for. He creates those huge holes. He's that guy that you want to run behind. If I'm a running back, I want to run behind Alex Leatherwood. First thing I'm doing when I get that handoff is I'm looking exactly for where Big Boy Leatherwood is, and I am going directly behind where he is because nobody's going to touch me if I'm behind him.
Yeah, and look, you can ask Najee Harris how good he is.
Sure.
This guy is very, very good. The thing about the Steelers is that they are in rebuild mode. They don't know who their quarterback's going to be. They don't know who's going to be running the ball for them. They don't know anything. They are in full rebuild mode.
Yep.
But this is a good start for them. Whoever the quarterback's going to be, whoever the running back's going to be, they're going to have a monster blocking for them, and that is huge. I like this pick for the Steelers at 24. I really do.
With the 25th pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to take Gregory Rousseau out of Miami, the edge rusher. Okay, this guy did not play in the 2020 season because he opted out. But in the 2019 season, let me just run some numbers by you for this kid here as you watch his immaculate highlight tape. Okay, as you're sewering this and you wait, you ready? He had 19 and a half tackles for a loss in the 2019 season, just the 2019 season, and 15 and a half sacks in just the 2019 season. He is ridiculous off the edge. He is just crazy, and we saw it after he opted out. The Miami defense it wasn't the same. It didn't operate like it did when he was in it. It wasn't what it was. So once he opted out, the Hurricanes, they didn't click like they did when he was out there. He would have been a nice addition to this team that was really good this year too, even. But like I said, like the numbers prove it themselves. The numbers show you the guy had, like I said, 19 and a half tackles, 15 and a half sacks just in one season as a starting defensive end for the Miami Hurricanes. And here's the coolest thing about him as well. You can line him up on the interior. You can throw him in on a guard, and he'll find a way to get through the line. He can go out. He can cover even a little bit if you want to use him as an outside linebacker in a 3-4. He's just an all around great athlete that you would use on the edge. That's why he's an edge rusher. So he's a ridiculous talent. And the Jaguars got themselves a nice replacement ever since Yannick Ngakoue has been gone. Their pass rush really hasn't been a thing, and Calais Campbell as well. Ever since those guys have really taken off, it has not been the same there for Jacksonville. So this will be a nice addition to get that pass rush going again, get them attacking here as they play in a division where, if you think about it, that's got to be the best offensive line division as it is. You look at the Colts, that's the best offensive line in the league and the youngest offensive line in the league. You look at the Titans, they've got a great offensive line. That's why King Henry's able to run like he is. And even if you didn't have King Henry, even if you didn't have that offensive line, King Henry would still run through people. And if you look at the Texans have a decent offensive line as well. Laramie Tunsil isn't bad. He's a nice franchise left tackle to have. So there's a lot of really good offensive line talent, and you're going to need a good pass rush to succeed in the AFC South. And this is a really good way to get themselves back into this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all right with this. I think that the Jaguars need so much in that organization to be better. I feel bad for any player that gets drafted in this organization, to be honest.
Trevor Lawrence. I think, and honestly, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle for anybody who gets drafted by the Jaguars.
And honestly, I'll agree with you. I think that's the biggest reason why Trevor Lawrence struggles is because of where he goes. But with that being said, we jump now to the 26th overall pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0. The Cleveland Browns are taking Jeremiah Owusu Kamara, excuse me, I botched that last name. I know I did. I'm not very good with his last name, but linebacker out of Notre Dame. Combs, you know exactly who he is. Yes. He is an impact defender, a great guy, absolute athlete all the way around. A ton of explosion behind him. Here, did you see this? Look at that. That's a jarring hit. That's incredible. Like you don't see this stuff. He's able to cover, as you see there on the highlights. I mean, he's just an all around pure athlete. He can hit you and just knock you out. And he can line up anywhere in the linebacker core. I will say though, the biggest thing that he'll succeed in, ideally we'll see him in a 4-3 as a will linebacker on the weak side, as in pass rush defense and something like that. Because he's a big playmaker. He's a big guy to come off the edge there, and I think he can really succeed in the NFL with the plays there. And Combs, will you say his name correctly? Because I botched his name so horribly.
Yeah, so it's Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. So,
okay, Owusu-Koramoah. There we go.
Yeah, so,
I didn't, because the kid's such a good athlete. I didn't want to botch his name and do him like that. I knew you'd be able to come in through and get me on that one.
He's a beast. I've watched this kid his entire Notre Dame career. I love this kid, and he is an absolute playmaker. And putting him on a defense that already has Myles Garrett, I know you say he's going to be used primarily in passing situations. I really think you could use him in blitzing situations where they're double teaming.
Coming off the edge.
He's going to excel. I believe he's going to be a what's the kid that the Bears let go to the Rams? The one that freaking Aaron Rodgers juked out in the playoff game there.
Fowler.
No. But at any rate,
Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd, yes.
Leonard Floyd.
He's a playmaker just like Leonard Floyd. He's a ball hawk. He finds the ball, but he's also a guy who can get you 12 to 15 sacks if he's in the right scheme. And this Cleveland Browns scheme is the right scheme for this kid.
Yeah.
I really like this pick at 26. I think that him on this defense makes so much sense for the Cleveland Browns. I just hope he's available for them when they pick him up, because I think he could go earlier.
Well, and even kind of piggybacking off what you said there, you stack him and Myles Garrett on one side of the offensive line, whatever left tackle, right tackle, whoever that is that has to deal with that is going to be in for some trouble. So
I agree.
As we move on now to their division rival, it is going to be the 27th overall pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0 draft. The Baltimore Ravens are selecting Terrence Marshall, the wide receiver out of LSU. Out of LSU. He is a role guy who fits all your systems. You can put him anywhere on the field. He can, like I said, he's a role guy. You could put him anywhere. He can be your slot. He can be your outside guy. And he's a go-get-it guy here. As you see that nice pass over the middle, he creates good separation on whatever defender is covering him. You could literally put him up against any corner, and he's going to find a way to get some separation. He's not your big play guy, though, I will say. He's not your guy that's going to be your franchise. He's not your big name wide receiver. He's going to be that guy that comes in behind the scenes and, gets you a ton of touchdowns as the season goes on. Will probably win you a game off of a out route from 4 yards away from the end zone, and they dump it off to him. He's that kind of a guy. He's your backstage guy that you never really see, but he plays a huge role and a huge impact on whatever team he's going to play. He did that at LSU, whether if Burrow was the quarterback, whether if whoever was quarterback this year, whoever it was at quarterback, he's been a threat. And like I said, you can line him up anywhere, slot, outside. So he is going to be a great wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, if I had to liken him to any receiver right now, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Wyatt, but he's a steal that the Bears got in the 5th round last year. I like him like a Darnell Mooney type guy.
Yep.
This kid is very fast. He's explosive, and you don't know how fast he is until he's already blown by you. Until
he's already said peace out.
Yeah, exactly. And so I really like this kid. I like him here in the 1st round. I like him at 27. I like him to the Ravens because they really need to get, and we talked about this before, they need to get Lamar Jackson some weapons, and this is a legit weapon for him. I like this pick at 27.
With the 28th overall pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0 draft, the New Orleans Saints are taking quarterback Mac Jones out of Alabama. Now, hold on now. I don't want everybody to rave on me here. I know they've already got Jameis and all that good stuff. Taysom's there as well. Here's the thing. Sean Payton is a offensive wizard, a absolute wizard offensively with his playmaking. I think Mac Jones is a lot like Drew Brees. He's a guy that if you need to, he can take off. But he's got a big arm. He's got a really powerful big arm where he can get it to the places you need with some good accuracy. I mean, we saw his capabilities in the national championship. I think that the national championship and even the game before that, the entire college ball playoffs, while he played, we saw Mac Jones literally become a third-round pick to a first-round pick. His stock went up so much because of how well that he played. I mean, he's capable of being a good NFL quarterback. That's really what we found out. He's capable of playing clutch in those big situations. And like I said, the national championship was really what answered that question for me. And anybody would fit Sean Payton's system. Okay, Sean Payton would find a way for me to throw a touchdown pass in his offense. He would find a way for Combs to throw a touchdown pass in his offense. You know, anybody can step in there. He's that much of an offensive wizard. And I don't like Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston makes a lot of sloppy mistakes. And I think Taysom Hill is a great athlete. I think he's an incredible player, but I don't think he's a true quarterback, and I don't think that works. So I think if they take Mac Jones here, they will have their quarterback of the future. He's a guy that's flying under the radar, a lot like Drew Brees did when he came into the league, really an under-the-radar guy. Nobody ever expected him to be what he was. Everybody always said that Drew Brees was too short, he was too this, too that, whatever it was. When he went to San Diego, he went to the Saints, and then he just balled out. So I could really see Mac Jones being that guy in New Orleans. I think he is the answer to what they need for the future.
I think that's a high ceiling. But to touch on a couple of things you said, I've thrown a lot of touchdowns in Madden in his system, so I can throw touchdowns in his system. Second of all, Jameis Winston is somebody that they want back. They've been in the news of saying they want back. And if you bring Jameis Winston back and then you draft Mac Jones, I mean, that's a horrible idea. So I really like Jameis Winston. I've been one of his biggest supporters. I've come out and said I think that Jameis Winston is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now. I think he was the best quarterback on the Saints this year. So this draft pick for me for the Saints doesn't make much sense.
With the 29th pick in the Wyatt Williams mock draft 1.0, the Combs, the Green Bay Packers are taking wide receiver Rondale Moore out of Purdue. Okay, look at this. Look at this play right here. This is the play I was hoping we would catch. This is against the Ohio State. He killed them in that game. He is the single-handed reason why they were even able to win that game and why they were competitive. Okay, he is a big play guy, a big play opportunity just waiting to happen there, as you see. He is a shorter guy, but he's an incredible athlete. He evades tacklers. He bounces off of guys. He's got great balance to keep him up and to keep him running. And can you imagine Aaron Rodgers throwing to him? That's a Purdue quarterback right there throwing him the ball. Can you imagine the Aaron Rodgers throwing him a ball? That would be incredible. Yeah. He's a guy you can throw anywhere. He's a guy that you could put him at slot. That's kind of the thing that everybody liked to say that the Packers needed that big play wide receiver is what they were missing last year. I don't think they were missing a big play weapon. I think they were missing a slot receiver is really what I saw. I think they were missing a little speedy guy that you would put somewhere. And Rondale Moore is that. As you see him, look at this. Look at the speed and the way he evades tacklers on this play. But you can, like I said, you can put him anywhere. You could even line him up on the outside. He's got speed to where he can beat cornerbacks. Downfield, he gets behind defenses and he gets down there and he makes big plays. And you can use him at kick returner. You can use him at punt returner like Purdue does. He's just an all-around athlete. He's a guy you could use anywhere on the field. And I'll tell you right now, Rondale, okay, I'll welcome you to the Green Bay Packers right now, man. He's a Southern Indiana guy, too. He went to New Albany High School for his freshman year and then transferred to Trinity. Then he went to Purdue. And I'll tell you what, man, as a Southern Indiana guy and a Green Bay Packer fan, I will personally welcome you to our franchise, okay? I would love to have you there.
Stop. All right, so I'm just going to touch on it real quick. You said, can you imagine Aaron Rodgers throwing this kid the ball? And I can, all the way up until the NFC title game when they lose again. And then this poor kid's never going to get to a Super Bowl because you brought him to the Green Bay Packers. So that's all I have to say about Rondale Moore. He's a great talent, but you just jinxed him and the kid's never going to make a Super Bowl.
And Aaron Rodgers won't be in a Green Bay Packers uniform next year.
Sure.
Yeah, he will. After all the comments he's made now, I think he will. You all don't want him to be in a Green Bay Packers uniform. Anyways, With the 30th overall pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the Buffalo Bills are taking Zaven Collins, linebacker out of Tulsa. This guy right here, before I even start telling you about who he is, what he is, all that good stuff, as you watch the highlights, I'll explain something. He is the steal of this draft. Barring injuries, he is the steal of this draft, 110%. Because he played at Tulsa, a lot of people don't know of him. This kid is insane. I watched a ton of Tulsa games this year just to watch him play because of how incredible of an athlete he is. He is so much fun to watch, and he would be amazing for that Buffalo defense to add another player. They've already got Tremaine there, a fast linebacker, and he would be he's another Tremaine, another rover guy, another guy you could put essentially anywhere from linebacker to safety. He is, he is a great, great talent. He's an explosive player. He's got a great football mindset, super smart guy. He is a field general on and off. He is a Mike on the defense. He's gonna be a prime Mike in the NFL. I can tell you that right now. And he's got plenty of room for improvement.
You had me with this kid up until you said I watched a ton of Tulsa games. I think you might be the only person in the world who has ever said I watched a ton of Tulsa football this year.
I did. I really did. He's that
nobody good on the face of this earth that is watching a ton of Tulsa football games. But this kid is really good. I mean, this kid is the real deal. He would be a steal at number 30. This is another kid that I think could go higher, just like my boy Owusu. Oh God, now I can't even remember how to pronounce his name. But at any rate, my buddy from Notre Dame there. God, you guys
getting
kill
late.
Me. But anyway, I think him and Owusu can really be taken higher in this draft, and you can justify the pick.
So now, before I move on, I want to say, before I announce this last pick, this is not decided yet. So Tampa Bay, yes, before the last two. Tampa Bay and Kansas City are what's left because they are the Super Bowl matchup. Whoever wins the Super Bowl gets that 32nd overall pick. So hint, hint, here, whoever I say next is going to lose the Super Bowl. And with the 31st overall pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock 1.0, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are going to lose the Super Bowl, are going to select Nick Bolton, linebacker out of Missouri. He is an explosive player. He's got great movement all over the field. He's a guy that can be a starting MLB right now in the league. He has a ton of room for where he can improve. He has a very high ceiling for what he can, move around with his techniques and stuff. But he's a great decision maker in coverage as well. He's an awesome tackler, as you see here. He brings down Najee Harris. Just look at him bat that ball down. He is a supreme athlete, an incredible athlete who is a guy who can be all over the field for you. You can put him wherever you want. And Tampa Bay would love to stack this guy up. Can you imagine that? Tampa Bay to have this kid. They would have Levante David, who's already a top linebacker in the league. Devin White, who is a Pro Bowl snub. He got snubbed out of the Pro Bowl, by the way. But that would be the best linebacker core in the league already if this kid turns out to be as good as he looks like he's going to be, which I really do think he could be. So I think this kid has a very high ceiling.
So Tampa Bay's got a guy who got snubbed out of a Madden game on a Sunday before the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Great. And second of all, I don't think that Tampa Bay is a pick at 31. I think it's Kansas City, but that's, we'll talk about that later on in the week. But this kid is a very, very solid pick. If you want a great surprise, go ahead and Google Nick Bolton headshots. Because I was putting together all of these little overlays that we do here, and Nick Bolton is also the name of another gentleman in the world who does not play football, by the way. So you will get a great surprise if you Google Nick Bolton headshots. Parents,
do not look it up with your kids sitting next to you. I can warn you now, it is not.
No. It's
not.
Rated, it's PG. It's PG-13.
All right. So now, with the 32nd pick in the Wyatt Williams Mock Draft 1.0, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs are going to take Kadarius Toney, wide receiver out of Florida. Kadarius Toney. Watch, you'll wonder who. Watch this highlight tape right here. Watch this. This is the exact same one that I watched a minute ago. Look at this guy's moves. Look at this. Evades tacklers. He's all over the field. Look at that. Combs, you're going to know who whenever Patrick Mahomes starts throwing the ball to him, okay? You're going to know exactly who that is, all right? He is a two-sport athlete as well. What right now, okay? What is more Kansas City Chiefs than a two-sport athlete, a wide receiver? Let's see here. They've only got like 10 of them, okay? They only got Tyreek Hill. They've only got Robinson. They've only got McCole Hardman. I mean, they're full of two-sport athletes. Kelsey, I'm not sure if Kelsey ran track or not, but I know that this guy was a track and field and also a football athlete. As you see here, he is definitely a football athlete. Look at those jukes. And he has the potential to be an every down starter at wide receiver in the league. He adds another weapon to this Kansas City offense, and he can be a slot wide receiver. He can be your outside guy. He is another Tyreek Hill, another McCole Hardman that you add to this team, another weapon, another guy that defenses have to stare at as they walk up to the line like, okay, well, we've already got two guys doubling Hill, and we've already got two guys doubling Kelsey. Well, now we're going to have two guys doubling him. So who's actually going to rush the quarterback this down? You know, like that's literally how this is going to have to be.
Look, I get, I mean, you know, at 32, the Kansas City Chiefs don't need much. So going with another two-sport athlete, I mean, they've got one. Like you mentioned, all the wide receivers. Patty Mahomes is also a two-sport. I mean, these guys, you know, they are ridiculously talented on the offensive side of the ball. I think that if they do have any weaknesses, it's on the defensive side of the ball, and that's where I think that they go in this draft. I think that they really tried to beef up their defense to, you know, I can't even say get better, but to maybe make a run at 16-0, I guess. Yeah. Because they don't really have far to go. I know we're stroking Buck's ego a little bit here as a Kansas City Chiefs fan. He's sitting there quietly and we're talking his boys up. But there's a name here that did not get picked that I want to ask you about. Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask, as all the quarterbacks that you named in this first round, to me, Kyle Trask is a top 3 quarterback in this draft. I think that he is better than Trey Lance. And I love Trey Lance, and I've mentioned his name quite a few times. I definitely think he's a better pick than Mac Jones. And I to be honest with you, for me, and I know it's an unpopular opinion, I like him more than I like Trevor Lawrence. I just do. And so I'm not seeing, you know, Kyle Trask, even at 20 with the Bears, where you had a chance to take another quarterback. I don't understand why Kyle Trask isn't in your first round.
So the biggest reason why, and I put him out of it for a specific reason. So the reason why I put him out was because every year there's always a wide receiver and there's always a quarterback that falls. Drew Lock was that guy a couple of years back. Patrick Mahomes was even that guy that fell. You got your Aaron Rodgers. There's always great quarterbacks that fall later than what they're expected. And I think Trask is one of those guys to where people don't really know what they're getting. Yeah. So with Trevor Lawrence, you know you're getting, in my opinion, the best athlete in this draft. With Mac Jones, you know you're getting a guy. You know what you're getting with those guys. You know what you're getting with Justin Fields. You know what you're getting with Trey Lance. With Kyle Trask, he showed us something different in every game. He was a Heisman candidate, but at the same time played terribly in his bowl game. So he's one of those guys that you don't know what you're going to get from. Right. So those guys are normally the ones who end up being the guys who fall late in the draft and end up being really good. And I totally agree with you. I think Kyle Trask is a potential for being the best player in this draft. I love Kyle Trask. I think Kyle Trask should have won the Heisman. And if he would have won his bowl game, he would have won the Heisman. I really do believe that. And I think he should have. And in the next mock draft, we'll tweak and we'll adjust things. And I will most likely not be able to leave him out again. But I just think there's so many questions to be answered with him that he's one of those guys who falls super late and then ends up being a QB, like just a top guy.
Isn't he a perfect guy for the Detroit Lions at number 7 over?
That's way too high, I think.
But I think that's too high for Trask.
But it depends on what you're looking at. So you look at a guy like Justin Fields and you look at a guy like Kyle Trask. I think Kyle Trask is a much better quarterback ready for the NFL than Justin Fields is. I think Justin Fields needs about 3 years to sit underneath somebody and really learn when to get rid of a football, because that's the one knock I have on him, is that the kid just hangs onto the ball way too long. That's not something you can say about Kyle Trask. I think Kyle Trask under like Jared Goff for 1 or 2 years till you get rid of him, and then bringing in, even though I don't think that they go quarterback, but if they did go quarterback, I don't know. I like Kyle Trask more than a lot of these quarterbacks that have already taken. I know you said some other quarterbacks, have fallen. You looked at, you said some. I don't even want to talk about Patty Mahomes falling, because we all know who got drafted ahead of him, which makes me want to vomit every time we talk about it. But you talk about like Aaron Rodgers, he wasn't falling underneath other quarterbacks. He was falling because nobody was taking quarterbacks.
Well, and that's the thing too. I think that Trask is one of those guys that's in a really weird place. So I think Trask, if somebody that needed a quarterback and was sitting at, let's say, pick 16, 17, 18, I still think 15 is a little too high for the Patriots to take him there. I think the Patriots would take Lance if they took a quarterback. So I think that Trask is one of those guys that's in a weird place. So Trask is going to be one of those guys that's going to be on the board when the Saints go. And if the Saints go with a quarterback, the thing is, Mac Jones fits their system better than Trask does, I think. So I think that's what also boosts him later in the draft as well and sends him to possibly a second-round pick. Honestly,
what about Trask with the Jets at 23? They've already
got Darnold. Well, here's the deal: the Jets are either going to have Darnold or they're going to have Watson at quarterback next year. There's nothing else that's changing that. I think one of those two guys is going to be their franchise from now on. I think they go with weapons to stack their quarterback with, or they go with pass protection.
But I think at this point, they're either they maybe, if they're thinking about moving on and going with Watson, maybe they're not sold on what Darnold's giving you. So at least if you have a Kyle Trask back there, A, you've either got trade bait in 2 years when Darnold's contract's up, or B, you've got Sam Darnold, or you've got Kyle Trask to take over for Sam Darnold when you let him go after his rookie deal's up.
Okay, I can see that being a good backup, but if you think about it as well, if you're the Jets and you've got Deshaun Watson, let's just use Deshaun Watson for example. Would you rather have Deshaun Watson and Trask backing him up, or would you rather have Deshaun Watson and Najee Harris for him to throw it to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. If you've got Deshaun Watson already, you're not going quarterback in the first.
Sure.
That'd be foolish. But I'm saying if they've still got Darnold, they don't get Watson, which we can talk about here in a few minutes after we come back from break or whatnot. I think that Watson goes elsewhere, not the Jets. So I think that bringing in a guy like a Kyle Trask would be a great backup there to sit behind and learn for a couple of years.
Sure.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick little break here on the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com, pick yourself up some merchandise. But after, on the other side of the break, guys, I am going to throw you guys a curveball that nobody is expecting here whatsoever. So, guys, stay tuned on the Man Hour. We'll be right back.
Uh-oh.
Welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams. Wyatt gave us an excellent NFL Draft 1.0, I should say, of the NFL 2021 season. So, Wyatt, I understand, you don't throw any trades in there just because you can never really predict, what trades are going to happen. But we do know a trade that did happen that has kind of shook things up a little bit here. And I'm going to throw you guys a curveball here. What if the Detroit Lions trade Jared Goff away for the number 1 overall pick? So I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars pick up Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions get the number 1 overall pick. Wow. Does Trevor Lawrence make the Detroit Lions a great team? Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think they'd have to give up one of those first-round picks they got for Goff as well. But I think they could give up Goff and a first-round pick and get that first overall pick.
I'm just thinking, because I don't think Jared Goff is a bad quarterback. I just think Sean McVay is a bad coach, we'll be honest. He was kind of a flash in the pan, and he caught the NFL by storm, and he kind of tapered off here toward the end. So is Jared Goff a bad quarterback? No, I don't think so whatsoever. But what better way to build a team that's been crappy, the Jacksonville Jaguars, than getting a player like Jared Goff? Honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree with you totally. I think that would be a big move for Detroit. I don't think that would happen, but at the same time, if it did,
we also didn't really see Matt Stafford to LA either. We all me and Wyatt sat here and said he is going to the Colts. We kind of turned out.
I was sure of it. Did you see what he said though? Well, he told the Lions GMs and all, the front office. He said, "You can send me anywhere but New England. I don't want to go to New England."
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Which is interesting to me, but I think that now that the Colts aren't getting Stafford, I really think that that's where Deshaun Watson ends up. I really do. I think that's a great landing spot for Deshaun Watson. I think that the Colts are a favorite to get past the Kansas City Chiefs next year in the AFC with Deshaun Watson. I really love that pickup for the Indianapolis Colts. I think that I don't think with your scenario here, Buck, I don't think that you can get the number 1 overall pick for Goff. I think you have to give them the 2 picks you just picked up, probably your pick, probably I mean you're going to have to give up more, I think, than just Jared.
So the reason why I think that is because the Jacksonville Jaguars, let's be flat honest, guys, they are starting at ground zero. The only thing they have, they picked up a couple defensive players last year, in the draft, so their defense isn't terrible, but they have a lot of room to improve on the offensive side of the ball. And if you can get a quarterback that is going to distribute the ball and have success in the NFL, why not make a play for Jared Goff? And people are saying, why doesn't Watson he go there? Yada. Just because I don't think that Urban Meyer wants a quarterback like Deshaun.
But haven't the Jaguars already had a Jared Goff type quarterback? I mean, they've just got. I mean, they've
Jake Delhomme 99 or something.
No. Who was the kid they had before?
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew.
Who was the quarterback before him?
Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles. Yes, Blake Bortles and Jared Goff to me are one and the same. I really do believe that.
You are telling me that Blake Bortles is better than Jared Goff?
No, I think that they're one and the same. I think that they're interchangeable. I don't think that Jared Goff is that guy, no matter what. And I mean,
he clearly was that guy in Jacksonville. He clearly was that guy in LA to get the richest quarterback contract ever.
He went to a Super Bowl too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that defense went to the Super Bowl.
That defense
you can't be a scrub.
You can't be a scrub.
And go to
Rex Grossman. Rex Grossman rode a defense all the way to the Super Bowl.
Trent
Dilfer rode a defense all the way to a Super Bowl ring.
Tom Brady.
I mean, you still got to be decent to get there.
Buck.
Blake Bortles wouldn't do that.
No.
Oh, come on.
And Rex Grossman had a nice stint throughout the playoffs. Rex didn't play bad. Guy like Joe Flacco, for example, that's a big.
Rex Grossman was awful. Don't ever go wash your mouth out with soap right now, Wyatt Williams.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and jump into the comments. Like we have kind of neglected the comments here. Like I'll show you because we were doing the mock draft here. But Drew says I have a gut feeling that Watson is going to go to the Jets only because they have the most room and equity to offset. Plus, Watson said he would like to go there. Why? I have no clue. So,
I don't see why he would go to the Jets. He's right. I mean, the Jets have the most capital.
Is he from
to
New
bring
York?
him in. No,
I don't think so. I think he's from Georgia. He's from Georgia. He's like the greatest Georgia high school quarterback ever.
Like, what is the tie to New York then? Like, why does he keep saying something about New York?
Big market.
I don't know.
He wants to go play at MetLife. He wants to be in the big market or in the Big Apple and stuff like that. He wants to be.
MetLife is the worst stadium in the NFL.
MetLife is not the worst stadium in the NFL.
Name one worse.
Soldier Field.
Lambeau.
Nice. Also, Drew says while we were doing the mock draft, he says he thinks that Rondale Moore would be a better suited with the Buffalo Bills.
Well, I can tell you right now, if the Buffalo Bills, that's something else I wanted to bring up earlier, talking about Kansas City. Because Combs mentioned that he thought they should go defensive there, and I don't disagree with him there. I think they need one more weapon wide receiver wise for them. I think that would be a nice addition. But I will say, if Buffalo does go with Rondale, then Zaven Collins I think falls to Kansas City because I think Nick Bolton would fit much better in Tampa Bay. So I think Zaven Collins would fall to Kansas City, and if that's the case, that would be insane. Okay, so that would literally be ridiculous.
So while you were doing your mock drafting, you started talking about the Kansas City Chiefs here, and like you said, they were going to add a weapon to the outside, yada yada yada. I was sitting back here and like just thinking to myself, how many weapons do you need at wide receiver position? Like right now, they are 6 guys deep. They have guys on the bench that could start on any other NFL team more than likely. So to draft a wide receiver, don't you think that's kind of a stretch there, bud?
I could see it being a stretch, but the biggest thing is they don't have that physical go-get-it guy. They don't have your guy that you can just toss it up in the air to, and he's going to go up over top of a – well, he's a speedster, but he can do that as well. He can go up over top. He's got that little bit of height on DBs where he can go up over top
Kansas City's pick?
Yes. Kadarius Toney, wide receiver out of Florida. He's got that little bit of height.
He's their go-get-it guy.
Tyreek Hill's not going to go up in the air and go get a ball.
But he's that guy you yell hike and you just throw the ball 90 yards downfield and somehow Tyreek Hill falls underneath it.
Their go-get-it guy is Travis Kelce. Like, let's be flat honest. Their tight end is their go-get-it guy.
Yeah,
sure.
No, I agree. I really think it would be hard pressed for Kansas City to go wide receiver in the first round over any sort of defense. I think that is, if they have one weakness on Kansas City, it's in that defense. And they've got a couple of holes on the line, and they've got a hole in the secondary. They need another safety to go along with the Honey Badger.
They don't have any holes on the offensive line unless the guy from that tore his Achilles, Fisher, doesn't come back this next year after he.
They don't have any holes anywhere really, but if you could nitpick and pick apart, it would be on that defensive side of the ball.
On the defensive side of the ball, but on the offensive side, they also had 3 offensive linemen that opted out this year because of COVID.
Correct.
One, which was a doctor in Canada, like all year. Like, how crazy is that? An offensive line is a doctor in Canada treating.
I don't know, man. I've watched too many Netflix series to even trust doctors in Canada. So,
so Jameson, like we kind of addressed this earlier, but he said Detroit is unlikely to take a QB. They are probably going to take wide receiver, DB, or linebacker. Way to give us 3 choices and not one. So, why if the Lions don't take a quarterback at that spot, what is the most logical spot or position that they take?
I don't think it's wide receiver because they've already got Galladay and they've got Marvin Jones. I think they've got
Marvin Jones is a free agent too.
They're both free agents?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, so that'll depend on where they go then. If they both decide to stay, if one decides to stay, it'll all depend on that. If they had to go wide receiver, Jamar Chase, I think will still be on the board then. I think you could go with Jamar Chase. If you're looking at defensive ends at that time, I think Kwity Paye will probably still be on the board there. You could take him. I think I have him going 10th overall to the Broncos. What was the other position they said?
Jameson said wide receiver, DB, or linebacker.
Okay, and if I don't know about linebacker, I don't think there's anybody worthy of taking at that exact spot at linebacker. Maybe,
this draft will tell you how sold they are on Jared Goff. If they decide to trade down from this pick, it would not surprise me if they're sold on Jared Goff 100% just to get more first round capital, because there is going to be someone who want to jump up to that spot to get a quarterback.
Everything that they just gave up to get Jared Goff tells you they've got to be sold on him, right? You've got a guy who you just gave up 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick for, and your starting quarterback who was loved in your city. Like Detroit Lions fans love Matthew Stafford.
Well, they got the picks, right?
Yeah, they got the picks.
Yeah.
Detroit didn't give up any picks. Detroit only gave up Matthew Stafford. That's it.
And like a 4th-round pick, I think.
Yeah. You're right. So the Detroit Lions, I think that going out and getting Jared Goff, I think that they have to already be sold on him. Otherwise, unless it's just strictly for the picks, are you making the picks? The Rams are picking. You don't even got to pick this year, so you just gave up Matthew Stafford for nothing this season. You don't get nothing in return for him this season.
My best guess for them is they're going to be in rebuild mode. Unless if they think Jared Goff's the answer. They've got the picks. If they did want to put those 2 picks together, they could also do that. Could you imagine here? Buck sent us for a twist there with possibly trading for Trevor Lawrence. But could you imagine if let's say they take those 2 picks they just got out of that trade. Let's say that 7th overall pick they get at Jamar Chase. Okay. Let's say with that, then they use those 2 picks and they trade up and get that 3rd overall pick and they get Devonta Smith. Say they do that. I think that right there fixes your wide receiver situation. That's 2 guys right there that are ridiculous. And you've got, if you do that, you've got your speedster in Devonta Smith, you've got your, deep threat, and then you've got Jamar Chase, who is your go-get-it guy. You can throw it up to him. And then on top of that, you've also got DeAndre Swift at running back. The offensive line there isn't terrible. You got TJ Hawkinson at tight end. He's another go-get-it guy. Right. So I think that right there, if they're convinced in Jared Goff, they could move those 2 picks and trade up even further into the draft and possibly get another two wide receivers. And if Golladay and Marvin Jones do leave, I think that right there would kind of cover it. I like Marvin Jones, and I think Kenny Golladay is a top 10 receiver in the league, but I think Jamar Chase is, odds are will probably be just as good as Kenny Golladay, and I think Devonta Smith will be better than Marvin Jones.
The other thing you have to look at with these picks and what they're going to do with Jared Goff is, what do these picks turn into? The Rams are going to be really good with Matt Stafford. I believe they're going to win the NFC West. They're going to be in the playoffs. So your pick right then, your first round pick next year is already going to be in the 20s somewhere. So you're not getting a high draft pick and back in for Matt Stafford, a high first round draft pick in return for Matthew Stafford. So my question is, where they've almost have to build around Jared Goff at this point.
Yeah, only time will tell. But do you guys realize that just the quarterbacks in the NFC North could probably pay off the national debt? I'm just kind of just throwing it out there.
Well, there's only 3 quarterbacks in the NFC North, and there's 4 teams. So,
and just to address some more comments before we head out, Wyatt, do you have something to say about this?
Oh man, yeah, no, she.
And that's it for the Man Hour, guys. We will catch you guys next time here tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on YouTube.com/Man Hour. We'll be right. See you guys tomorrow.